Hi friends, welcome to Making Disciples Through Movement. Now this week it is the second Sunday of Easter. So we are going to be talking about how when we live together in a community, we share together in a community and we're better together when we're in community. And this is something that the disciples of the early church practiced. So in our Acts reading today in Big Church, we heard about how the disciples shared all of the things among them. So if people had food, they shared it with everybody. If people got money, they shared it with everybody. And it became a community of sharing with the early Christians in the early church. But I would like to talk about how you share in your community that you are loved by God. How do people know that Jesus is in you? How do people know that the Holy Spirit lives inside of you? How do people recognize Jesus in you? So we learned in our gospel reading from the book of John, that many of the disciples, we blame Thomas a lot. Thomas is named, and so we call him Doubting Thomas, and we tell people who don't really believe something, are you being a Doubting Thomas? And that's not really that fair, because he was just the one who was brave enough to say, Lord, is that really you? Man, that had never happened before. Somebody who died and the tomb was empty, and then all of a sudden appears in a locked room and shows his hands to see his wounds on his hands and the spear wound in his side. That had never happened before. It was probably a little mind-blowing. Lord, is that really you? Thomas was courageous to ask, is that really you? How would we know what Jesus looked like and acted like if Jesus were to walk in a room that we were in? And here's the thing. What the Bible asks us to do is us be Jesus walking into the room. That we are to show Jesus' love every time we walk into a room. What would that look like? So I would like you to clear the dance floor, please, or whatever floor you've got available to you. And I want you to just walk. Just walk. Now, you're not going to be able to see yourself probably because we're not in a two-way video stream here. What would it look like if you just walked? Walk slow. Walk backwards. Walked quickly. What does it look like when you walk? Just feeling that. Because I bet that if I walked backwards, if I walked away from you, you might, if you knew me well enough, you might be able to tell that it was Miss Annika. I bet that Mr. Russo would be able to tell, just by watching me walk, that it was me walking into a room. Now, also, I would probably be very loud and start waving to people, and you would know me from other ways, walking into a room. But you probably can do that with your family, too. Yeah? You can probably tell who's walking into a room based on maybe even what they sound like, what their shoes sound like on the floor. You would obviously know it's them if they started to speak. Some people have a smell because they use a certain shampoo or they spray a certain cologne onto them. And so you can smell when a certain person walks into a room. Or if you see somebody really far away that you know, and you can tell it's them and you're thinking, wait, I can't really see their face, but they're running just like I know them to run. You can tell who it is, even if they're far away. But what would it be like if we could have to be Jesus? How would it look like? How could people know that it was Jesus if we walked into the room? So I just want you to think about that. There is no right answer, because what Jesus told us to do was show love, right? Be my hands and feet. Show love to the world. God is love. Be love. But every room you walk into is going to need love a different way. And I cannot wait for you to talk with your family and to pray about this, because this is something you can practice your whole life. It's not just kids who try to figure out how to walk Jesus into a room when they use their own feet. We are all learning how to do that. So I hope the next time I see you walking into a room that I can tell that you're bringing Jesus' love right along with you into that room, being Jesus' feet, being Jesus' hands, and walking Jesus into the room. Until next time, bye friends.